Every town has a house that is believed to be haunted or looks like it could be. I regret entering the one in my town. My YouTube channel is dying. 6 months of narrating Reddit horror stories over stock footage of dark hallways, and the algorithm had finally made up its mind about me. Irrelevant. 43 videos, 11,000 total views, and my channel was slowly dying. I had one shot left before I quit for good. That's when I heard about the house on Allen Avenue. It was a 2-story colonial at the end of a dead-end street. Boarded windows, caved-in porch, a front lawn that hadn't been touched in years. People called it haunted, but the truth was worse than ghosts. The man who lived there had been a serial kidnapper. Victims went in, but nobody came out. The case went cold before I was born. But the house was still standing, still empty, still sitting at the end of Allen Avenue like something that refused to be forgotten. Perfect opportunity for me to go viral. I went in at 2 a.m. through a broken window at the back. No hesitation. Just me, my phone, my flashlight, and 6 months of desperation. The first thing I saw stopped me cold. The wall directly in front of me was covered in graffiti, floor to ceiling, deep red, the kind of red that looks wet even when it isn't. 2 words stood out in dripping letters, huge and deliberate. It read, "Endless Suffering." I filmed it immediately. My hands were shaking slightly, but the shot was good. Better than good. That was a thumbnail right there. Okay, I thought, we're doing this. I moved through the house slowly, sweeping my flashlight from corner to corner. Most rooms are completely bare. No furniture, no debris, just old walls and older silence. But in every single room, those 2 words written in that same red paint, glowing under my flashlight like it meant to be found. Endless Suffering. It should have been a warning. I read it as content, though. I was grinning by the time I reached the basement. Above the frame, someone had written something that made me stop. "If you enter, you will know endless suffering down below." I filmed it for a solid 10 seconds. Then I looked into the camera and said with a grin, "Well, you already know what I'm doing." I opened the door and went down. The basement was unfinished. Raw concrete walls, exposed pipes, a single pole chain light that didn't work. My flashlight swept across the floor, and that's when I saw it. A hole, dead center in the concrete, maybe 10 feet wide, edges rough, like something had been dug out by hand over a long time. "What the hell?" I said out loud. "This is literally Buffalo Bill's house." I needed a good shot of it. I moved to the edge and leaned over, phone filming, flashlight pointed down into the dark, and something moved in the hole. I jerked back on instinct. My phone slipped and I grabbed for it. I overreached and then there was nothing under my feet. The fall wasn't long, but the landing was hard. I laid at the bottom, winded, staring up at a circle of dark ceiling. The hole was deeper than it looked. 8 feet, maybe 10. Smooth walls, no handholds, no ladder. My phone screen was cracked, black. It wouldn't turn on. I still had the flashlight. I swept it across the bottom of the hole, breathing hard, trying to think with my head pounding, and the beam landed on something on the far side. A shape, sitting against the wall. Human-shaped, impossibly thin, skin pulled tight and gone the color of old paper. Whatever it was, it had been down here for a long time. A very long time. My flashlight hand wouldn't stop shaking, and then the shape turned its head toward me. "You ignored the warnings." The voice was barely a voice, dry, distant, like it was coming from somewhere much further away than the other side of a 10-foot hole. I couldn't speak for a moment. Then I finally did. The only thing that came out was the truth. "Holy shit, you're alive!" It didn't move anything except its head. A slow nod, just once. I looked up at the opening above us, a pale circle of basement ceiling, impossibly far. Then I looked back at it. "How long have you been down here?" It was quiet for a long moment. "Down here," it finally said, "we cannot die." Terror sunk in as I realized that I was never making it out of this hole. If you enjoyed this story, make sure you hit that like button. Also subscribe for more stories as I post weekly. If you have any stories you would like to share, go ahead and drop them in the comments. I make sure to read every one. Thanks for listening.